Who is the real enemy?
This is a scale model of war. When you fire that first shot, no matter how right you feel, you have no idea who's going to die, how much blood will spill until everybody does what they were always going to have to do from the very beginning. Sit down and talk!
Who is the real enemy? Is it Vladimir Putin or is it Zelensky? The reason that I've included that clip at the start, and this is a subject for which I feel very passionate about. I believe there should be no war whatsoever throughout the entire world. I believe there should be a total eradication of war, and I just believe it just offers the ordinary citizens up as fodder. I've included this clip because it strikes so true at the heart of what war is. Gone are the days of nationalism, militarism, and patriotism. Here are the days where actually a family wants to thrive, a family wants to see their kids grow up, a mother and father want to die after their children. Okay, remember, the people who start these wars, it is not them fighting the wars. Okay, they are the ones that solve the wars and diplomacy and bureaucracy, and they're the ones who have the backdoor conversations with all these people. But they are not the ones in the dirt, in the mud, in the trenches. They are not the ones having their eyes shot out, their heads blown off. They are not the ones widowing their wives. They are not the ones leaving their kids without a father. And they are not the ones who can have any real input into how the war ends. They are not the ones who had a real input into how the war started. So yes, who is the real enemy? I do not condone the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It was an invasion. They clearly went in. They clearly tried to overtake Ukraine in a couple of days, which they didn't. Okay? And all the US and the UK are doing, we are just serving it as another proxy war. You scroll back through the echelons of history in regards to the Cold War. There's two Cold Wars, because people don't forget there were two Cold Wars. The first Cold War happened just after 1945. Churchill would call Russia the Iron Curtain. Okay? The Berlin Blockade. The establishment of the Berlin Wall. Okay? All the way to the Cuban Missile Crisis. All the way to 1983's all the way until Ronald Reagan's speech in 1983, where he called Russia an evil empire, all the way to the Chernobyl disaster. Everything, if you ever want to look how something ends, look at history. We've already done it. The West very much Putin has an expansionist idea, has an expansionist ideology. No. And he compares him to Hitler in 1939 and preceding the years, 1939. When Hitler was in jail, he wrote a dossier called Mein Kampf. Okay? And in that document, there was a clear expansionist ideology going on. Putin doesn't have that. Okay? Putin only wants the safeguard of Russia itself, its homeland, its former Soviet satellite states. Okay? I do not condone him invading Ukraine. I do not condone him going to war with Ukraine, and I do not condone the war whatsoever. But you've got to, if you want to be better than our predecessors in history, you've got to open the room for dialogue and diplomacy. Speak to Putin, okay? There may be, I can see an outcome where Russia does formally annex the Donbass regions, Donetsk and Luhansk. He's already got Crimea. We didn't bat an eyelid when Russia marched into Georgia. Do you know why? Because we didn't really care. But when they tried to invade Ukraine as a whole, suddenly we do care. The West only use Ukraine as a proxy battleground to test their new war machines. What's a better way to sell your weapons than to let them be performed on the battlefield? Both sides have done bad. Both sides have a hand in how this war started. Okay? Nobody is the real victor. Nobody is the real winner. And there is surely no sympathetical figure. Okay? They both need to just get round the table and talk. Because at the end of the day, when all's done, when all the dead bodies are returned to their countries, when all the wives are widowed, when all the military funerals are given out, when all the military funerals go on, when all the military medals are given out, when all the medals of valor and honor and freedom are given out, there is only one thing left to do, and that is to sit down with your enemy and talk to them. Be better than what has happened in history. Because Everything's already there. Everything is already there. We have already served proxy battlegrounds before when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, okay? And the US went in there to defend it. Another proxy battleground. This has all happened before. Zelensky has used it as an Amazon trip. The first thing he said to Ben Wallace when he got there, he gave him a list of the weapons that he needed, the ammunition that he needed. But this is the harsh truth. Ukraine will never win against Russia. Russia is the biggest country in the world. They could pull their resources, their military resources, from every corner of the Russian nation all they want. Okay? We are only giving Ukraine enough weapons to defend itself. We would never give it the means to win, because why would we? They can't win. It's impossible. The Tucker Carlson interview was a fantastic opportunity to get into the minds of the opposite side, because only by looking at both sides of the coin can you get a real decision. Can you make a real decision about what you should actually think about. Okay, we are fed propaganda from our mainstream media, and that's all we have when you think about it. We need more free media. We need more media like Tucker Carlson and his interview, so we can make up our own minds about who is the real enemy. Okay, but yes, that is my stance. I hate war. Any war anywhere shouldn't be happening. We should be thriving. It's true. It is true. We live in the most peaceful time in history in comparison to everything else. But it's still not peaceful enough. Okay? It's only through an economy, through capitalism, through engaged society where everyone can make money and everyone can thrive and their families can thrive does the concept of war seem so abstract. There were calls that there could be a war with Ukraine and UK nationals could be conscripted. Good luck, sunshine. You would not get a single British citizen to sign up to that. Any normal thinking British citizen to think about it, because they wouldn't fight for their country against Russia, because they know half of it's bollocks. Okay, in the Donetsk and Luhansk region, they're majoritively Russian speaking. You speak to them, they'll probably want to go and join Russia. So why doesn't Zelensky say, okay, let's sit down, let's have a referendum, let's really confirm if they want to be part of Russia or part of Ukraine, and okay, and if it saves your people and no one else has to die, isn't that a chance you take? I understand appeasement, and I understand that appeasement can lead to further aggression, but the difference here between Hitler and Putin is that Hitler had a preset expansionist idea that he wanted to get done. He wanted to get back the Rhineland. So appeasing Hitler was a bad idea, but he had clear preceding expansionist ideas. Putin just wants defence against NATO, doesn't like NATO encroaching ever further into the east, and he was promised that NATO wouldn't encroach further into the east. And guess what? It wasn't on paper, so we carried on anyway. There will be no real victor and there will be no real winner of this war. Both sides should push to engage in dialogue, constructive dialogue, to end this war and save the lives of their citizens. Because at the end of the day, it's not Putin or Zelensky with an AK-47 on the battleground. It's ordinary citizens like me and you, widowing our families and leaving our children without fathers and mothers in some cases. So make love, not war. I've been Just Jake. If you've liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, share to your friends. It means the world to me, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching the video. Did you like the video? Then hit the subscribe button or watch some more videos. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow. Thank you very much.